Today, this video will guide you in establishing the ideal atmosphere for your horror game by providing techniques for lighting both outdoor and indoor scenes. For beginners, we recommend using environment presets to save time setting up an environment from scratch. Go to Scene Explorer, Environment. In the Properties window, open the Environment preset. Select a preset in the Choose Environment preset window. Adjust the preset properties in the Properties window to meet your specific requirements. You can add a directional light that emits light in a single direction, simulating light from an infinitely distant source, such as moonlight. Go to Scene Explorer, click the plus icon, and choose Light, Directional Light. After adding it, rotate the light to simulate a particular light source. Adjust the brightness value to control the atmosphere. Setting it to around 0.1 for night scenes can create a dim, eerie effect. Sky settings can be customized as well. To quickly adjust scene lighting, modify the exposure value in the sky component of the Properties window to control the skybox's brightness, and adjust the ambient light value to change the intensity of the scene's ambient color. Now that the lighting is almost complete, you might want to add some fog to create a sense of depth and smooth transitions, especially in night scenes. To add fog, go to Scene Explorer, Environment. In the Properties window, ensure the fog component is enabled. If you're setting up lighting for an indoor scene, you should adjust the lighting based on whether there are existing light sources in the room. When there is no main light source, you can add a low brightness point light with a large range. Point lights radiate in all directions from a specific point in space and are commonly used to represent light sources such as light bulbs, torches, or candles. Go to Scene Explorer, click the plus icon, and choose Light Point Light. Then click and drag the pink dots on the bounding sphere of the light to adjust its range. In the Properties window on the right, you can further modify the brightness, shadow, range, and color of the light. If your main indoor light source isn't sufficient, consider combining multiple light sources to enhance the scene's visual impact and highlight important elements. Be aware of the limitations on the maximum number of active light sources and light sources per object to avoid lighting anomalies. For example, if we use a floor lamp as the main light source with shadows enabled, you may need to move the point light upward to adjust the shadow size, as it might appear too large. However, you may notice that the edges of the floor lamp are not bright enough. In this case, add another point light close to the floor lamp. You should also reduce the new light's range and disable shadows to improve the lighting effect. The left image shows shadows without the additional point light, while the right image shows shadows with the additional point light. Of course, intense lighting can sometimes cause overexposure. To address overexposure on specific objects, 1. Select the affected object. 2. Adjust its smoothness attribute in the material settings. Higher values create a glossier surface, while lower values produce a more matte appearance. If overexposure occurs in nearby areas due to increased brightness and the default attenuation mode, change the attenuation mode to smooth. This mode is ideal for scenes requiring strong light penetration. Smooth attenuation prevents overexposure in nearby areas while allowing increased brightness for distant lighting effects. Sometimes, after setting up the lighting, flickering can occur due to the following factors. 1. Excessive lighting sources. 2. Large objects. 3. Exceeding light source limits. It's important to remember that the maximum number of active light sources allowed in a scene is 256. If the number of light sources exceeds this limit, some sources may not be considered in the scene's lighting calculations. Each object can receive light from up to 8 sources. If there are more than 8 sources, the renderer will prioritize the most important and impactful lights, selecting only 8 to influence the object's appearance. For large renderers, with excessive light sources and flickering in dark areas, optimize light placement and quantity, and consider dividing large shared surfaces to maintain consistent lighting. Finally, let's talk about shadows. Currently, point lights do not have shadows enabled by default. Excessive point light shadows can consume additional resources and potentially cause game lag. To optimize performance, balance light settings by enabling shadows for primary light sources and disabling them for ambient effect lights. Among directional lights, only the one with the highest brightness value acts as the main light and casts shadows. This is why toggling shadows for additional directional lights has no effect. I hope this tutorial helps you create better lighting atmospheres in your scenes. See you next time.